Welcome back to Land Investing 101. In this episode, we are going to talk about remainders. So we explained last time what remainders are. Remainders are created from the conveyance of a property where a future interest is left. So for example, if I give property to my aunt for her life, and then after her, it goes to the heirs of my cousin, my third cousin on my other side of the family. They have a remainder, right? Once my aunt dies, the property goes to my cousins on my other side of the family. So they hold a remainder. Now there's different kinds of remainders. We're going to go through them one by one. There's contingent remainders. There's vested remainders. I got notes here, so if you guys see me looking down. So contingent remainders, vested remainders, typical vested remainders, and vested remainder subject to open, as well as vested remainder subject to total divestment. So let's go through these one by one. So what's a contingent remainder? A contingent remainder exists when it's uncertain who will take possession of the property, or it is uncertain that the holder will be able to take possession of the property. So a contingent remainder, for example, is I give my property to my brother, and then when my brother dies, it goes to my sister. My sister holds a contingent remainder because she may die before my brother, right? So it's contingent on her outliving my brother. That's a contingent remainder. And I'm sure you guys can think of other examples. Again, the definition is a contingent remainder exists when it is uncertain who will take possession of the property, or it is uncertain that the holder will be able to take possession. That's a contingent remainder. This is a lot of legal jargon that you guys can use when looking at contracts or deeds or wills. All these things will start to make more sense to you. So the next one, vested remainders. A vested remainder is when it's clear who is getting the future interest, right? So for example, I give it to my brother and I say, upon your death, the property will go to the goodwill, period. The goodwill has a vested remainder, right? We're certain that my brother's going to die at some point in the next 1,000 years, we hope, right? Or not we hope, but that's pretty clear. And the vested remainder, the remainder is now vested, right? Because we're certain who is going to take the property. We're certain that at some point in the future, the goodwill will own the property. So a typical vested remainder cannot be taken away from the holder of the future interest. So for example, my brother cannot, if I give my brother the World Trade Center, I own the new World Trade Center towers. I cannot, my brother cannot, as the holder of that property, demolish it, because there's a future interest in the form of a vested remainder to the goodwill. So they have an interest in that property even though they don't have the right to currently use it. So the next kind of remainder is the vested remainder subject to open. So this is when a remainder is created in a certain class of persons and is an interest that may diminish in value if more people become members of that class. So for example, I pass on, I die, and I give all my property to my wife, my real estate to my wife. And my wife, I leave in my will, I say, for the life of my wife, and then to her children. Okay? This creates a vested remainder subject to open in the children. Why? Because although she may have children, me and her may have children, she may have more children after I pass on. So because I stated to her children, right? It didn't say to our children, to her children. That class, that gift may get bigger. The gift, it stays the same, I'm sorry, but the class may get bigger, right? She may have more children. Or for example, if I say I pass on real estate to my mother, and I say, here, mother, this is for you, this is for your life, and upon your death to the children of my brother. My brother can easily have more children. So that is considered a vested remainder subject to open. Subject to open. And then we have a vested remainder subject to total divestment. A vested remainder subject to total divestment. So this arises when it's certain who will take the future interest, but something could happen that could take away their interest. So a vested remainder subject to total divestment would be something like for so long as or follows a fee simple determinable, right? For so long as the property is used for farming. This means, let's say I give to my brother, I'm going to give you this land for so long it is used as a farm. This means potentially my brother can keep the land and pass it on to his heirs, right? Or to his sons and daughters. But his sons and daughters hold a vested remainder subject to total divestment, meaning they have a right to that interest. But at some time in the future, it can be totally stripped away from them if they stop using it for farming purposes. So that's vested remainder subject to open. So that's a few notes on legal jargon and remainders. And we just went over contingent remainders, vested remainders subject to open, and vested remainders subject to total divestment. We're going to go over some more legal jargon and land investing terminology in the next couple of videos, and then we're going to get into some deeds and land investing tips. We'll talk again soon, guys.